Hello guys and welcome back to my Rebuilding Brighton series, the 12th episode this episode, and I just want to say a big thank you to the Custard Prophet and to Football Manager Maniac. There is a lot of other people that I want to thank, but mainly those two for tweeting about me and getting me my first few subscribers, and it's really nice to have all of you guys on the channel. And I thought, because I've got so many new people that probably haven't been following the series, I'd do a wee summary of what's happened in the series so far. So, first of all, what you're going to need to know is I'm not actually that good at Football Manager, and that has definitely been proven by the fact that in the first season in this series, we ended up coming 20th in the Premier League, so we got relegated down to the Championship, and I actually think that was a very positive thing, because it gave us a year to really rebuild our squad and create a lineup that was able to actually compete in the Premier League, and we came straight back up as champions of the Championship, and now we're in the Premier League. And we're actually doing quite well. We're up in 9th right now. I'll take a look at the general page so that you guys can see that I am on the favoured personnel list, and the club icon is Custard. He's a player that a lot of you might not know a lot about. He came in for us from Lazio for 1.9 million, and he's now valued in that 20 million sort of range. He played really well for us in the Sky Bet Championship, and he has eventually become our captain, and he's leading us to a really good finish at the end of this Premier League season. Right now, as I'm talking about him, he is actually injured, unfortunately, out for 3 to 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks actually. I was a bit hopeful there. As you can see, this is the squad that we do have. A lot of really good players in there. Noticeably, Mayoral, Custard, Bellingham, Nori, a couple of players you will definitely notice, also Onana. And I hope that I've gone away from those stereotypical purchases that you see in these saves and gotten a few different faces that are playing really well for us, Custard being one of those ones. And I hope that you're excited about joining the series and seeing how we do, because I have built up a really good squad, and I hope that you guys continue following the series. And as I'm talking about the series, let's get straight back onto topic. Right now, we are in the midst of a bit of a takeover. I'll search up in here, and we can see that a tycoon is eyeing up Brighton, and that'll be very exciting to see if we get any more transfer budget and see what our ambitions are if that does eventually go through. Just before the game against Bournemouth, we're going to take a look at what has happened since we last saw each other, and that is 2 wins and 4 really disappointing draws. So we won the games that we were expected to win against West Ham and Leeds. A really convincing win against West Ham. Not so convincing against Leeds, but we'll take a win nonetheless. But unfortunately, we weren't able to beat Manchester City, Tottenham on 2 occasions, and Chelsea. And that has meant that we're out of the FA Cup, and we are on quite bad form as we go into this game against Bournemouth. But with them down in 19th place, I am really, really hopeful that we can bounce back and get a win. This is the squad that we're going to go with for this match against Bournemouth. They have a really good side, and I'm not sure why they're struggling so much. Players like Cook and Wilson are really good players in Football Manager, and I think they should be doing a little bit better than they are. With no Custard, our captain today is going to be Onana, and I think it's the first time he's ever been the captain for us, so hopefully he can lead us to a win here today. Going straight into the match, we can see that Bournemouth are down in 19th place, as I've already said. So I'm sure we will be able to dominate the game, but it is whether or not we're able to take our chances. And with a striker like Mayoral, we probably should be able to take a couple. And we are going to have the first highlight of the game straight away. And Vertonghen playing at left back for them, which is a bit of a controversial decision, but I know that he can play out there. Plays it to Zuma, who, again, playing in a bit of a controversial position, playing at CDM. Everyone knows Kurt Zuma is more of a CDM, but we've ended up coming away with a chance and getting a goal. Mayoral hits it into the back of the net, a really good ball from Custard, and Custard has been having a little bit of issues this season, so it is nice to see him getting contributions towards goals. Really good ball from Bellingham, which is exactly what we want to see from a really young central midfielder, getting some good long balls in, and Mayoral gets his 10th goal of the season. As I was saying before, he is such a good player for us, and I hope that he can continue that scoring form for the rest of the season, as Bournemouth try and come at us again, but once again they're quite wasteful with it, and I understand why they're all the way down in 19th place, but just as I'm saying they're wasteful, they become wasteful, we become wasteful as well, but we do eventually get it back, and Custard looks like he's won a penalty for us, and Mayo will be the man to step up and take it. I'm not sure if I'm too confident in him today, because he has missed the last 2 penalties he's taken, and he misses it again, and he can't seem to run onto the follow-up, and Bellingham has to come up and get it. But he can't score from point-blank range. That is an absolutely shocking penalty, and I don't understand why the game mechanic doesn't make him run towards the goal and try and shoot it again, because that would have been a very easy chance for him to score if he had only focused on the ball. Even Bellingham should have scored there, so it should be 2-0. But that is the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, and we all know this game is not perfect, and I really wish it was, because we would be 2-0 up. As the game continues to go on, I'd like to backtrack and say, I know that I was saying before that Kurt Zouma doesn't normally play in the CDM position. He normally plays in the centre-back position. I'll just finish that sentence because I know I got that wrong before, but we scored a goal, so I couldn't be bothered really changing the topic back onto something that unimportant, but my OCD is kind of kicking in, and I do need to highlight it. Nori puts a good ball in, and Mayoral does get his second goal of the game. And he does put us 2-0 up. That is exactly what we want to see. An easy pass by Nori and a really good finish by Mayoral. And I hope that he can continue doing it and maybe even get a hat-trick in the end of the game. Going into the end of the first half, we are 14 shots to their 1, and that does show on the scoreline 2-0. And I will tell the boys I'm very happy with their performance. I don't think I need to tell them not to get complacent, because when we're 2-0 up against one of the worst sides in the division, I feel like they have a pretty good chance of coming away with the victory here. Nori has a throw in. Watch me eat my words here. Nori put it in a good ball in, but it doesn't quite make its way to any of our players, and this is where I'm going to eat my words. Bournemouth are on the attack. Callum Wilson running up. He probably should be looking to play it inside, but he manages to find Vertonghen, who plays it all the way back to Cook, and now they're building it up, and hopefully we can get the ball off them, because we all know they have been playing pretty wastefully for this game. Fraser is in a really good position though, and Vertonghen coming from left back, of course, just as I'm mocking them, and just as I was saying before, how Vertonghen shouldn't be playing in the left back position, he comes in and he scores a wonder goal against us. Really good pass from their central midfielder to Fraser, who plays it back to Vertonghen, who absolutely rifles that ball into the top corner, and this is 5th goal of the season. They probably have some absolutely method to their madness there in playing Vertonghen in his left back position. With 5 goals, you really can't say that he's doing bad. Hopefully we can turn that back around and get one back, because we have had a bit of a habit this season of only winning by 1 goal, and it has led to us having a negative goal difference, and near the end of the season that might be very costly for us. Up in 10th place, every goal does count at this point. But Bournemouth are on the attack again. Walker-Peters on the ball for ages because of a wee bit of a lag there, and Mayoral does make a tackle, and hopefully he can come in and score his hat-trick, but he just does a bit of a weak shot that goes straight at the goalkeeper, and he can't quite get his hat-trick. That would have been a really nice way to do it, but Custard puts in a really nice ball. As we all know, if you've been following this series, he is a great assister. He's got the most assists in the Sky Bet Championship last year, and even this year he's doing really well in the Premier League. I think he has 6 in 22 games, which isn't the best return ever, but certainly not bad, as he whips in a ball now and almost gets a really good assist, but Trossard does end up getting the goal in the end. A good pass from Bailly, and Trossard bringing himself back into form like he was in the Championship. Hasn't played very well this season, but a goal and an assist should do wonders for his confidence there, and we're very happy to have him back on form. Hopefully Gray can actually follow it up by getting some form back, because he hasn't been playing very well lately for us, although he was definitely one of our star players in the Championship. I'm going to bring Willian on to try and create a bit more on that right side, because the left side is working really well, but we need to get both flanks really communicating with the middle and playing very efficiently. With 10 minutes left to go, we are still 3-1 up, and hopefully we can finish the game in that exact same way. Another goal wouldn't be too disappointing at all. If they want to give us another goal, I'd be happy with that. But as long as Bournemouth aren't scoring, I will definitely take this scoreline. But we might have another chance here, as Onana, our captain for this game, has the ball, plays it out to Sanchez, and Willian, the substitute with fresh legs, is running up. Takes a really long shot. I have no idea why he's shooting from that sort of angle, but it's never going to trouble the goalkeeper, and he saves it very easily. Just an unnecessary highlight, and definitely, although I have keeper highlights on, we do get a couple ones like that here and there, bringing Sanchez off for Bernardo just to create a bit of fitness back into the side, just to run out the clock, as we do right now. Full-time whistle, and we have won 3-1. A great way to start the episode, and hopefully we can continue that in our next game against Norwich at home. With all the excitement at the start of the video, with thanking everyone and just welcoming everyone to the channel, I almost forgot to mention that it is actually the January transfer window and we have done some business. Start off with the sales, as per usual. Jimmy, our CDM, who got signed for really cheap and has never really done anything for us, was sold for 2.1 million. A nice wee profit on him there, so pretty happy with that. Then we also sold this young centre-back, I'm not even going to try and say that name, and we brought him in a couple of years before I started for 300k and we've sold him on for 2.2. He didn't look like he had any more potential. The big sale though is Iheanacho, and unfortunately he just couldn't do anything for us off the bench. And with our new young Argentinian striker, Shinone, I believe his name is, playing really well for us lately. I'll show you his stats. He's played twice for us in the scored twice for us in the league, and played in 5 games this season off the bench or starting, and he has done really well, scoring 2 goals, and I'm pretty happy with his performance. So for that reason, I am pretty confident that we can get rid of Iheanacho for a profit, by the way, for 16 million, and when we got him in earlier this year for 11 million, that is a pretty good piece of business if you ask me. We brought in Isaac, and yeah, he was a bit of a stab in the dark. A lot of teams really wanted him, and he was really cheap. He only came in for just under 200k, and my scout told me he was either going to be between 3-star current ability and 5-star potential, with all of those potential of being this low, and I think he was all the way as low as he could have been. So probably a player that we're just going to sell. I'm trying to loan him out, but eventually we'll sell him and probably make a nice wee profit on him of about 200k, or maybe even break even. I wouldn't mind either way. 200k is certainly not too much to lose, especially considering our budget. I do have a bit of an issue right now though, because we have more wage budget. We have less wage budget than transfer budget though, and it's in the minuses, which means I can't really sign any people on loan. If anyone knows how to fix that problem, please let me know down in the comments, because I can't adjust it at all. It just won't let me do it. But we certainly have enough transfer budget to be able to adjust it. So maybe it's something I need to do, but I'm really not sure. So if you know, let me know down in the comments. Back onto the game. It is up against Norwich, and this is the squad we're playing with. We're bringing Boga in for Gray, taking him out completely, and I'm hoping that can actually shake him up and show him that we are serious about him needing to play a bit better. Boga's actually wanting to leave the club, so this is really his last chance for me to prove that he can do well for this team. He hasn't done anything for us all of this season in his debut season for us, but if I do need to sell him, I certainly will. And with bringing him in for only 8 million, we will definitely make a profit on him. So I'm not too phased either way. We've also brought in Vallejo for Bailly just to get a little bit of rotation in that defence, and hopefully that White and Vallejo partnership can really link up and start playing well. But let's see if we can win this game up against Norwich. Quite a different Norwich squad than you would be used to. Olivier Giroud and Marley being a couple of names that you might recognise, and a player that we will certainly recognise, Lewis Dunk, who we sold for $43 million quite some time ago now. If you were all the way back in that watching the series way back then, I really appreciate you sticking around, and it's nice to have all the new people that are here anyway. So we're going to tell them to avenge Norwich for last time. I can't remember where it was. I think it was earlier this season, because we're now into the January stage, so we must have lost to them, which is a little bit disappointing, but hopefully we can do well at home with a really nice squad, and fingers crossed that Boga can make a bit of an impact coming in for one of his first starts of the season. And Willian is certainly on the bench if Boga is not playing very well. 20 minutes gone and still no highlights. That's not a very exciting first few minutes for you guys, unfortunately. 2 shots to our name and 0 to Norwich. It's no surprise that we don't have any highlights. Maybe if this goes into half-time, we might think about making a bit of a more positive approach if we can't do anything. 5 more minutes left of the half, and it is very bland. 3 shots to Norwich now, none on target, but we do finally have our first opportunity of the half, and it looks like it's going to go Norwich's way, with them playing it up really nicely. Fernando on the ball, running up, and our defence needs to be closing him down better than that, and just like that, they are 1-0 up. Olivier Giroud scoring a goal, and I told you guys we needed to keep an eye on him, and they just couldn't do it. really good play for them, good build-up, quick passing, and a nice finish. And going into half-time, I think that's the way it's going to end. 1-0 down, and I'm going to tell the boys I'm very disappointed with their performance. I'm going to get a little bit aggressive and see if they can react very well to that. And I think I'm going to move on to a more positive mentality, see if that does anything. It worked for us all throughout last season in the Championship, so hopefully it can work in the Premier League and give us some dominance over this Norwich side, which we really should be beating. I think they're quite a bit lower than us in the table. Actually, no, they're above us in the table. I am massively underestimating this squad. So this will be actually a good result if we come away with a win, and a draw is probably not what we want at home against a squad like this. Their players don't seem too good, so I guess maybe I'm disrespecting them a little bit, but I think that we should be able to line up a bit of a good result in this game. But right now, they do seem to be all over us, although we do get the ball back, and we play it all the way back to our goalkeeper, which just restarts the chance, and Vallejo has it, but loses it straight away. Silly pass from Onana, and they might come in and score again, but Onana saves himself there by making a save, and Norwich come away with a corner, which will probably, again, be one of those silly highlights that actually lead to nothing, as Bellingham clears it away, and I think that is going to be the end of the highlight. Watch them score here as I'm saying that. They still have the ball, and maybe there will be a little bit more to it. Marley playing it back to Fernando, and they're playing really well, bouncing it around. Cousins gets it clear, and that should probably be the end of it now. No, I think we're still going. Norwich have the ball, playing it around, and we need to keep this defence sorted. But there we go, finally ends. Gosh, that was one of the longest highlights I've ever seen for absolutely nothing. We are getting some more shots on the board, but it doesn't mean that Norwich aren't getting their shots as well. Todd Cantwell is coming on, who has actually been a really good player for them. And I think he's got about 4-star current ability, so hopefully he doesn't do too much damage against us, as we bring on our young Argentinian striker who I was talking about just a few minutes ago, so hopefully he can make a bit of an impact and actually score a goal. We're going to go onto an attacking mentality now though, because there's no point of us sitting around and waiting to see what happens. Nori apparently is looking exhausted, so we can't have that when we're trying to be a very intense last few minutes, and Sosa's going to come on for Diuse, who I think has actually been playing quite well, but we need to have a bit more attacking prowess, and he is definitely more of a defensive-minded player. So we'll see if that can do anything. If we get even one chance, I will definitely take this as a bit of a success. And we do have a chance, but it looks like it's going to go Norwich's way as they run up with the ball. Hopefully one of our players can make a tackle. Almost did there, but Cantwell, the player I was a bit worried about as he came on, is offside, but shoots, and Onana is able to make the save. I tell the boys to push up and see if that does anything. 3 minutes left. We'll go very attacking. I'm throwing everything at them. I would really like a result here. 1 more minute, and I think that's the way it's going to end, unfortunately. 10 more seconds, and yes, a bit of a disappointing performance, but after seeing when Norwich are on the table, I will take that. I'll tell the boys that they are I'm very disappointed with how they played, because we really should have come away with a point. I'm not happy with the result, but I'll take it up against a pretty good Norwich lineup, apparently. That is where we're going to end the episode today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and again, thank you so much to those 2 creators for helping me get some actual traction on my channel, and we finished this episode in 9th place. So, just to finish it off, thank you to all of you new subscribers. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already, because I really appreciate every single one of you guys, and I'll see you all in the next episode.